Okay, I think we are all here today and it's really nice to see you. And I'm presenting my warm thank you for you here. And we have been so pleased to be your guest. It's lovely to see new colleagues, new friends here, and your hospitality has been amazing. So thank you so much. We have had amazing time in beautiful Heraklion already. And we will have great days left 3 with Staff Academy. So it's my pleasure also to see and enjoy your program and your workshops and presentations. And I'm Tiina Parkkonen, and this is my colleague Tiina Luukkainen, and we are helping you with hosting, and also, of course, our Crete colleagues will be helping you. And it's lovely to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiina. So, thank you, Tiina, and thank you all. Thank you for being here. It's a great pleasure to host you at the University of Crete. We are also having a wonderful time with you here. So I'm sorry for the traffic. This is what we are going through throughout the year, in particular during the summer months. Yeah, I think if you enjoy your time, we'll have time to exchange ideas and talk. I don't want my presentation to be very, very formal. It will be a glance of our Center for Training and Lifelong Learning. And if there is something to discuss in between, I would be happy to stop and continue later on. So our Center for Training and Lifelong Learning was established based on a national regulatory framework. And this center is in charge of all the lifelong learning and training related programs and activities in higher education. The KEDIVIM of, I will call it for short KEDIVIM. I'm sorry for keeping this Greek short name, but now it's widely known, so we thought we'll keep that. So the KEDIVIM of the University of Crete was established already in 2018. It's an independent academic unit in our university, and it promotes and coordinates a lot of interdisciplinary cooperation for the development of the continuous education, non-formal education, and lifelong learning programs. So all these activities have to go through our KEDIVIM. Okay, so formal education goes through the academic departments, non-formal and lifelong learning has to go through the KEDIVIM. The design and the preparation and implementation, as well as the accreditation of all our programs, are based on our national and European institutional framework, as Nikos will also tell you later. What is very important is that our KEDIVIM has been accredited with an ISO 9001, and lately, as expected for all Greek KEDIVIMs, we are expecting the accreditation from the Hellenic Authority for Higher Education, which certifies and accredits all our academic units. So, what is the aim of the KEDIVIM? The main aim is to implement lifelong learning and training programs, as I said, in Greek, but also in other European languages. English in particular, it's more difficult to have other languages. So our aim is to link the lifelong learning and the vocational education with qualitative contribution to increased employability, enhance mobility, ensure equal opportunities not only for our students, but also in our society. Also, we want to reintegrate the occupational mobility within the labor market. So we reskill or upskill alumni as well as other professionals in order to make a shift in their careers. We also aim at completing, updating, and updating the knowledge that our alumni or other alumni from the higher education system has obtained during their formal studies. To validate the knowledge and certify all informal and non-formal learning that people have acquired through their long-term professional experience, and to provide specialized and certified knowledge and transversal key competences which are fully aligned with a specification of each occupational profile. Of course, we contribute via our academic staff of the University of Crete to the promotion of innovation, creativity, competitiveness, and entrepreneurship of the Greek community. And very important, we create partnerships and interdisciplinary collaborations with both domestic as well as foreign institutions, similar to the discussion we had yesterday. What is very, very important for our KEDIVIM is that we focus on the quality of our programs, and we depend only on our own strengths. So the professionals that teach in our programs are academics coming from the University of Crete, whatever that means. We are very proud in Crete for the quality of our academic people, for our staff, and this is something that is very, very important for us, because this ensures the quality of our programs. So we don't outsource, that's what I mean. So the teaching methods that we were discussing yesterday, depending on the content methodology and the target groups to be addressed, we have three forms: the face-to-face training, which requires the physical presence, of course; the distance learning, which uses modern video conference and asynchronous technologies, which we have at the University of Crete. This is supported by the KEDIVIM e-learning platform; and the blended learning, where we mix the two above. Okay. As I said, the KEDIVIM trainers are professors and researchers of the University of Crete, which may employ other high-quality scientists and experts from Greece, but which are direct collaboration. So the responsible person is a professor or researcher from our university. The studies at the KEDIVIM are financed by the trainees, by public entities, by the region of Crete, ministries, Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Tourism, and others, the European communities, or private companies. So, regarding certificates and micro-credentials, after the completion of a training program, we provide certificates and diploma supplements to all trainees or those that request it. And the program, in these, we explicitly note the ECVETs or the ECTS that originate from this program. So each module or program corresponds to a specific ECTS. Micro-credentials have been also considered in our national regulatory program. As Nikos said, our credentials, micro-credentials, are pseudo micro-credentials, as they don't particularly apply within the national framework. However, when we have a program in collaboration with institutions from abroad, we can assign these micro-credentials. What is very, very important for us is that we can use exactly these activities and collaboration with international institutions or European institutions in our proposal to the Ministry of Education to amend and establish the micro-credentials also within our national system. So it's a way of pressure for our Ministry of Education, the fact that we do assign micro-credentials in our international programs. These, of course, are in accordance to the European approach to micro-credentials or the micro-credential framework. So with this, I will leave you to the good hands of my colleague, Nikos Papadakis, who will present you the programs.
Dear colleagues, dear participants, welcome. Thank you, dear Vice Director. As our Vice Director has already explained thoroughly, our basic principle in KEDIVIM is based on the core definition of lifelong learning, even back to the EU Memorandum 2001, as a tool of social inclusion, first and foremost, which was implemented with some gaps during the EU Lisbon strategy 2010 and the consequent strategy EU 2020. That results in another principle: no one should be left behind. That's why we tried within and succeed within 5 years to provide 99 accredited programs and to train approximately 80,000 people in 5 years. In terms of our international visibility, you can see the traffic of 1 week. We gain in visibility, in international visibility. And we provide different facets and versions of training programs and lifelong learning programs based on research. So they are evidence-based by the colleagues all across the disciplines that we have at the University of Crete, from social sciences to medicine to advanced soft materials to humanities, digital humanities, to education sciences, and the whole spectrum of the sciences we have at the University of Crete. So they're actually aligned with what we're doing in terms of research in the University of Crete. So to be brief, we also have several English courses, and we increase them, and among all the others, we have some strategic actions and initiatives at the national and international level. I will be brief. We have a constant cooperation with the Public Employment Service from the Ministry of Labour since 2022. We were one of the first KEDIVIMs of the Greek universities that were enrolled successfully in the register, in the national register. So we offer a variety of targeted, modularized training programs and lifelong learning programs in several sectors of the economy, with emphasis on digital and green skills, and recently in financial literacy. And these are with blended learning. Further, we have cooperation, strengthened cooperation with ministries, the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Health. With the Ministry of Health, we have already provided one very successful program in terms of training of the staff of the mobile health units of the national public health organizations, of all the national public health organizations. So the University of Crete was in charge of that. And further, we currently implement a large scale for almost 2,000 people, 2,000 professionals in primary health care, a new training program in cooperation with the Ministry of Health and funded by the Resilience and Recovery Fund of the European Union. Further, we have other strategic cooperations and actions. For example, in 2021, we implemented an evidence-based training program on the connection between the primary sector, the agricultural sector, and tourism, which is of vital importance for the economy, not just of Crete, but of Greece, which, among others, was the first and probably the only, so far as I know, training program that was accredited as a best practice in social innovation in the policy domain, employment and training, and it's integrated in the Public Administration Innovation Observatory of the Ministry of the Interior of Greece. Further, at the international level, we have several cooperations. For example, a huge cooperation in order to organize international course in care and use of laboratory animals between the fourth and the Biomedical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens, the University of Eastern Finland, and the Roundabout University in Nijmegen. Further, we have proceeded in submitting and please join us in submitting international competitive training project proposals within the framework of the Erasmus Plus called the ADU for adult education. And last but not least, as you all know, we actively participate in the work package 5.4, which Tina is brilliantly coordinating of the INGENIUM. And in fact, we've learned a lot by this involvement, and we anticipate to learn more. Apart from training and lifelong learning initiatives and activities, we also have several scientific actions. For example, international workshops. The first one was in 2023 with Chinese institutions on sustainability, with the participation of professors, scholars, and experts from China, Malaysia, the States, UK, and Greece. And very recently, we had another international workshop on lifelong learning, training, and employment in Greece and internationally, with participants from international organizations such as CEDEFOP, from ministries, deputy ministers, for example, from the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Education, the regional governor, the deputy governor of the public service, of the public employment service, and professors and scholars from other universities, including scholars from universities that participate in the INGENIUM. So we are on track always. And what about our priorities? Our priorities is to follow up, but not just follow up, and not just extend in quantitative terms. Combine quality with quantity with another principle, high quality even over quantity. Increase internationalization and sustainable partnerships, develop joint micro-credentials at the international level. The Vice Rector has already explained this implementation gap in terms of the national regulatory framework, but we do believe that this issue will be solved. Maintain and increase the creative cooperation with the Greek Public Service and the ministries. Strengthen the human resource development and capacity building by providing evidence-based lifelong learning and training program, using the regional mechanism for the monitoring of the labor market and the diagnosis of the labor market needs, because the University of Crete is the only university that has a long-standing regional monitoring mechanism for the labor market and the needs assessment and skills, even before the national one. So now we are in the second phase, and we began in 2016, and we're about to end in 2017 December. So it's a huge project with the region of Crete, funded, EU funded, that provide us with constant update in terms of how the labor market is getting transformed, what about the social vulnerable groups, which is our priority, and what about the needs and skills. Further, we discuss with the National Center of Public Administration and Local Government. We have already start the discussions in order to establish a strategic cooperation via an MOU in aiming at providing targeted and modularized training for civil servants in Greece. So this is just a brief overview of where we stand, where we intend, and we do believe with your help, to proceed in. Thank you, and have a nice day in Crete.
Thank you. So I don't know if you have any questions or comments or something to discuss before we proceed to the next. Yeah, please.
When you're developing this, do you work with industry to develop specific programs for that industry one time, or is it always across?
I think you will hear some of our presenters next. Okay. We have with associations as well as industry. One example is the pharmaceutical industry, for example, that we are targeting because our medical school is quite strong and our colleagues. So we have a collaboration with through the pharmaceutical, let's say, sector with various industries in the field. There are programs that are targeted to industry, or the industry can come to us and ask for a specific design. It's twofold.
You showed the diagrams about the programs, a number of participants. You had tons of participants in the years 20 and 21, and after that a very big drop. And why was that?
Yes, this was a very big program. It was, you remember, 2021 was the COVID period. So there were a lot of online programs specifically targeted to train all the medical sectors, maybe Nikos can say exactly the word, the tourisms, the people working in the tourist sector with respect to the medical care that they should provide for tourists. So this was the big jump, you are right. What is very important, yes, there was a drop, but we are steadily increasing, and that's what our target. So every year we are doubling the number of trainees. So this is what our target is.
And if I may add, it's exactly what the Vice Rector has already described, and it was a true and actual social offer. Because the University of Crete, of course, with the cooperation and the funding of the region of Crete, we have a strong cooperation, was the only one offering a large scale for everybody working in tourism and in other key affected sectors of the economy by the COVID. So all these people were trained in all the basics in the very beginning of the COVID, due to the medical school as well, for free. So that was the case, and that's again based on our basic principle. First and foremost, to respond to the key needs of the society and the economy.
There is a necessary certificate being worked in tourism. The certification was necessary to find the people who work in the...
Yes, in order to employ somebody in the tourism sector during that time, you need to have this certificate to prove that you know how to handle the pandemic, in fact, the viruses and things like that. We have a very strong microbiology sector at our medical school, and people working on viruses, which are experts at national level. Normally they used to also train us or guide us through TV news and all this. So we use that also to train the sectors, the professional sectors.